Hello, welcome back to the channel. Turbo Man here, 351. I just wanted to share something with you that in my neighborhood, a guy down here cleans out like old rental properties that people leave behind, and he gets all the metal and all the salvageables out of it, then takes it to the dump, and they weigh it and they pay him money for it. And he's been doing this for a while. And like every month he'll have this collection of absolute a mountain full of like old lawnmowers, wiring, stuff like that. And I was going down through our neighborhood here, and I just happened to look over like I always do, and this is what I spotted. Boom. This is a 1975 Curtis air compressor. This is roughly a 100-gallon, between 80 and 100-gallon cylinder. It was sitting down there. It was all rusted. Obviously, I did a little bit of cleaning up on it. And it was just sitting down there. And I was like, hey, dude, what do you want for that? And he was like, you can take it. I was like, that's a no-brainer there. And anything related to shop stuff and working on cars, anything in that realm of the area of like compressors, tools, engines, hot rods, that's all going to be on this channel here. And so I found this, and I was just looking at it and going over it, and it had quite a bit of rust on it. And so what I did, I took a ball peen hammer and I laid into this thing all over the bottom, the top, to make sure that it wouldn't puncture through, that this was really, a useless item, that it had rusted too bad, and I just had to throw it away. But that ball peen hammer, I laid into it, man, hard, and it dented the hammer before it dented that. That's amazing. So anyway, that's a keeper. All the fittings on here were good. I was surprised. I cleaned all this up, the brass there. The other fittings here, I had to put some heat to some of this stuff just to get it to come out, and it's all good there. And I plugged this guy up here. I had all these plugs in my shop here. I couldn't believe it. And it all worked, you know what I mean? And, everything that's on this compressor, is all good to go, man. Your drain, you can have a fill spot there. It takes a 5 horsepower air pump that goes on here. And to run a 5 horsepower, you got to have like a 14 horsepower gas engine to run that, which is a no-brainer. Obviously, this wasn't an electric one, I'm assuming. I tried to get some pictures online, nothing. I mean, there was nothing. I called the Curtis company, they had nothing. I couldn't believe it, man, because obviously back then they didn't have all the digital stuff to keep everything like they do now. So this was free, and I'm restoring this. Everything is good to go, man. I got everything in, the plugs. I stuck a vacuum cleaner. I had to make jury up some rig there, and I took this out and I had to vacuum the rust out of here. Yeah, wasn't that much. Maybe a half a gallon of material came out of here, which seemed to be normal to me. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't gigantic chunks, which would be concern to the sturdiness of the tank, but it was just like small stuff. So and this tank is gigantic, man. And the surface rust that's all on this cylinder, all coming off, make a really thin, like millimeter layer, would cause about that much to come out of it. So that made sense. So I looked online, and a pump for this puppy, a good one, was like 2,500 bucks. I'm not going to do that. It's around 400 bucks, and obviously it's going to take a Harbor Freight 420, which is a 14 horsepower motor on here. So I'm looking about maybe, I don't know, if I do it right, 500 bucks. And I can get this thing up and running, get the things back on there, and have a really big, big air compressor, obviously. And I can run like sanders now. I can run stuff that normally you wouldn't be able to run, on that guy. Now, anything that has to run continuously for a while, that compressor is just going to run, and run. And you don't want that because it puts a lot of wear and tear on that. And that's a Harbor Freight air compressor. This just the right stuff to break big bolts. I mean, this is perfect for the hobbyist. This is all you need, right? But when you get into the industrial stuff a little bit, you get to that big boy, okay? Now, imagine if you were to stand this thing up vertically. You could see how big of a tank this is, okay? And normal guys get the one that stands about 5 feet tall, you know, that you find. That's about $400 out like Home Depot. And well, this is a little bit bigger, obviously. This is for like a body shop that runs those continuous sanders, you know what I mean, and things like that. I think that their tanks are actually way bigger than this one. I don't think that they're this size. But anyway, but just to step it up another notch or two in the air tool department, this is awesome. Plus, I'm not going to use it that much, so a gas one would be perfect. I don't want to run the electric bill up through the roof because that had to be 220. And so it's a pretty little good find here. I thought I'd share with you guys. It's pretty neat, man. And we're going to paint it up really nice. Maybe put some logos on there. Turbo Man 351, go right there or something. And make it look pretty cool, man. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys. You know, anything shop related, hot rod related, you know, compressors, welders, plasma cutters, torches, all the stuff that's normally used in a mechanic shop, you're going to find here on this channel, and we're going to share it with you guys. And that there was a pretty good steal. Curtis Company's been around, great day, I think since 1912, something crazy like that. Could be wrong. I even saw some 1800 stuff in there, but that's crazy. I don't think that stuff was invented yet. But anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys. I'll keep you posted on this as we're going through the build, but really it's just a one-time buy, you know, the pump, the motor, and, you know, the fitting that shuts the motor off and on when it reaches, I think it's a 175 PSI. It says 200 PSI on the tank. It's got a little thing right here. I don't know if you can read any of this though, but that's where I got all the information from. It's a 200 PSI maximum pressure, 400 degrees Fahrenheit that this can operate temperatures in, but you know, we're not going to be operating this near a volcano. So pretty neat score, man. Pretty awesome. So I thought I'd share it with you guys. I'll keep you up to date with the car. Not much going on with the car. The reason why not much has been happening is because it's really hot outside. I mean, dude, the index right now is 98 degrees, so I haven't really been driving the car a lot because it's just too hot to drive this thing, you know, and especially a turbo car. So right around September, all the way through winter, there'll be a lot of driving footage of this car, and hopefully we'll be hitting that 200 mile per hour goal that we're trying to hit with this car. 200 miles per hour, maybe a standing mile or something like that in the airport, or we'll do it right here in our backyard. And I'll show it to you, okay? But we're getting a Panhard bar for the rear end from Maxim Motorsports. It's about $400 on LMR site, and I'll show you that as we put that in, because the rear end seems to walk a little when you corner very hard, and we can't be having that. That scared me the other day. I went around a turn really hard, and it felt like I had rear steering. Ugh, a little sketchy, but I'll show that to you because right now we're working on the suspension a little bit on this car because the power is at 700 and the rear end is just not liking that when it comes in, and we're still crossing our fingers for a faceplated T56, man. Whew. That guy Neo Mustang has just got one on his channel, and I was drooling. I couldn't believe it, man. I think he's gears 2, 3, and 4 are faceplated. First isn't because you got to use the clutch to come out to get the car moving, but I don't know. This is what this car needs. This car needs a faceplated manual to keep the power band up there when you're shifting gears, because normal guys will rely on a ball bearing turbo to keep spooled up, but you got to buy a really good turbo to do that, and that's about $4,000, and we're not going to do that. I'd rather spend the money on a transmission where I can click the gears fast enough to stay in the RPM range and the RPMs won't drop, you know. I'm out about $5,000, boom. I only dropped to about maybe 4,800, and that's nothing. So Keep your fingers crossed. We'll see what the Lord does. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.